have a saying here in Chickenlandia, and that is the best feed for your flock is the feed that you can afford. And that's never gonna change. But just because someone's on a lower budget, that doesn't mean that they don't wanna give their chickens the best. What if there was a way to afford to feed your chickens a little bit better without breaking the bank? Friends, welcome to Chickenlandia. My name is Dahlia. I'm a backyard chicken educator, also known as the president of Chickenlandia. Raising chickens has been the best way for me to find peace and joy in my life, and I want to help you find that too. You want to get down, honey? I know, the chickens are eating something good over here, aren't they? Your hens are having some food without you. Okay, I'll put you down. I wish this was not true about the world that we live in today, but unfortunately, in most cases, you get what you pay for. I 100% believe that, whatever you can afford to feed your chickens, I think that's fine. I think your chickens are gonna be great. Also, this video is still for you. You will still be able to get something from the ideas in this video. But there's no denying that with some of the cheaper feeds, you might see some ingredients in them and they might sound fine, but then once you find out what they actually are, you might think to yourself, I don't know, I don't really want to feed that to my chickens. So that's tough. That being said, if you need to feed your chickens a cheaper feed, I really, and I mean this sincerely, I really do not want you to feel bad about that. Because if you take a look out at your flock and you see them pecking and scratching, one thing that you should always remember is that those chickens are better off than most chickens in the world. What I tell to all chicken keepers is just do the best you can with what you have and know that you are actually making a difference in the world and the world of the chickens that you're taking care of. So I want to start out by giving you some good news, and we could all use some good news, right? Because the world is really full of bad news right now. So the good news is, you guys know I have worked with a company called Scratch and Peck since I started this channel. Actually, my relationship with them goes way back to before I had this channel. My very first flock, they ate Scratch and Peck, and I've been feeding them this feed since the beginning of my chicken keeping journey. Scratch and Peck is an organic, non-GMO feed. All of their ingredients are sourced in North America, which is a pretty big deal. And we've kind of grown up together. Like when I started with chickens, I didn't have Chickenlandia. I wasn't even a backyard chicken educator yet. And they were a really small company that started in my town of Bellingham. So they're local to me, and I'm just really proud that I work with them. And especially because they just did something that I am super happy about. I don't know how they did this, but Scratch and Peck lowered their prices. I think it's because they opened a new mill somewhere. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't talked to them that much this year because I've been crazy busy, but they did send me an email. They said, hey, we're lowering our prices. Can you please let your people know? And so here I am doing that. I know a lot of you have been like, oh, I really want to afford this feed, but I just can't make it work. Maybe this will help out. And also some other things that I'm going to tell you about right now. I am not someone that is going to tell you that chickens should only have chicken feed. There are many educators and some veterinarians that will tell you that chickens should only eat chicken feed. That is something that comes out of factory farms, and I really think it should not apply with backyard chickens. Because if you think about it, we have had this symbiotic relationship with the chicken for ages. I'm talking about thousands of years. And this relationship was one in which they ate mostly what we wasted. And of course, they were usually pasture raised, or they would eat bugs and foliage or whatever. But a lot of what they would eat would be what we wasted. And there must be something good about that, because chickens have survived for a long time and they've done really well in our world. So I think it's important to just keep that in mind when we're feeding our chickens. In Chickenlandia, I created something called the Chickenlandia Chicken Food Pyramid. And basically what it is a very simple guide that is not confusing and you don't have to measure anything. And it's just a way to simply feed your chickens where they can get the nutrients that they need from their feed, but they can also get fresh nutrients from things like leafy greens and low sugar fruits and healthy proteins. I think these are really important things that you should be including in your chicken's diet. So I do have a video where I go more into the Chickenlandia chicken food pyramid. I'll put that in the description, and I do talk about it in my online course. But I just wanted to mention that because when you give your chickens kitchen scraps, when you include that into their diet, inevitably you're going to save money because your chickens aren't going to be eating as much feed. Do they still need that base layer of feed? For optimal egg laying and to keep their reproductive systems healthy, I think that's the best case scenario. So that's what I promote on my channel. But you know, there are many ways to feed chickens, and most of them are valid as long as the chickens are doing well and they're happy and healthy. Okay, here is another thing that I've talked about a lot on my channel, and it is a great way for you to save money on chicken feed, stretch that feed dollar, and also give something really healthy for your chickens. And that is, you can ferment their feed. Fermenting chicken feed is super easy. I promise you, if I can do it, it's easy. The process of fermentation actually expands the feed. So you can take what was 1 cup of feed and turn it into 2 cups of feed. And not only is it just 2 cups of feed, but it is actually more nutrient dense than that 1 cup that you started out with. So what happens is because it's more nutrient dense, because the nutrients in it will be more bioavailable to your chickens, they might actually eat less of it. So it's this thing where the feed expands and your chickens might eat less of it, and the result of that is that you can really save money this way. Now, I have had a lot of people in the comments tell me, oh, you're just expanding their feed by putting water into it, and your chickens are gonna suffer and they're not gonna get enough nutrients. That is not true. The process of fermentation makes the nutrients in the feed more available to your chickens, so they're gonna get more bang for their bite. Is that right? For their beak, or whatever. They are going to get more out of the feed, and they will also have more feed, but they will also get more out of it. So no, it doesn't make the feed less nutritious for them. It doesn't mean that they're getting less calories. They are actually getting more nutrition with every bite. One thing I want to tell you is that when it's really, really cold, sometimes fermenting feed can become a challenge, and that's because obviously the feed has liquid in it, it's got moisture in it, so it can freeze. But the way that I handle that if I want to ferment my chickens' feed in the winter is I feed it to them in a heated dog bowl, and that way they're able to eat it. It's kind of like a warm treat for them, and they love it. Like I said, fermenting feed is so easy. I'm gonna let you know how to do that. I'll talk about that at the end of this video. But right now I want to tell you another important thing. There is no rule that says that your chickens have to eat the same feed all the time. What that means is if you need to keep your chickens on a feed that is a certain price for most of the time, you can still include in their diet a bag of more premium feed. Let's say you do it once a month, or maybe like once a week, you ferment some feed, some premium feed, and you give that to them. Something really healthy like Scratch and Peck or another premium feed or whatever better feed that you can afford. You can totally do that. There is no law that says no, you have to keep your chickens on the same feed all the time. Now, there are finicky chickens out there, and sometimes they will get used to one feed and they don't want to eat another one, but after a while they will get used to it. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. And if you do ferment a feed, usually they like to eat that. They will really go for that, and then they'll continue to eat their regular feed. So that is something that you can think about. It doesn't have to be like, I don't know, I think in the chicken world we kind of think of things as very black and white, and they're not. This is life. This is like life, and life isn't black and white. We need options. I just really want to encourage people to think outside the box and to remember, again, whatever you can feed your chickens, they are so much better off than most chickens in the world. They're going to be more resilient. They're going to be happier because they live with you. So I want you to remember that, and I want to thank you for the wonderful care that you're taking of your flock. And one last thing, I know I told you that I was going to give you instructions on how to ferment feed. I have a whole video about it. It's the biggest video on my channel. That was like the first video I had that really went viral, and it's very easy to follow. It is on the screen right now. Go ahead and click on it and learn how to do it. It's easy, and guess what? It's 100% friendly. Backyard chickens, education, and entertainment, and I know you're gonna love it.